I've struggled sometimes with, like, a thought will appear, and I'm like, is that a thought or is that just listening? I'm struggling a little bit with understanding what's a thought with what.
I love it. I love it. Let's clarify. Totally. Really, the actual question you're asking me for very, just to really flesh it out for you, is you're asking me, like, when is this from the mind and a thought versus when is this clarity coming from awareness?
Yep.
Right? So how can I tell what is my mind listing? Because it's so habituated, it's so familiar, it's so captivating, right?
Yep.
So that's thought from the mind. And then we have awareness, noticing or becoming aware of what is true, what is actually true, right? So truth, clarity, life, these are synonymous words, right? So this is a beautiful question. Something you already know is that thought is actually got some effort, is actually heavy. And awareness is totally effortless. Okay, so that in itself is not super helpful when thought is so habituated and so familiar and so captivating. That can feel effortless.
Right?
That could be masked as effortless. When awareness itself is effortless, it's also spacious. It's also clear and true. So it will mirror sensations in the body and in the space and in the moment. So if awareness is aware of the truth that you are A, hungry, and B, the body would love salmon, right? We therefore can feel the body and feel salmon, and I would say even specifically in the actual belly, and it will feel like truth or clarity. And clarity and truth have a distinct sensation. It feels spacious, it feels effortless, it feels juicy, it just feels true. But we could also look in the moment, right? For instance, in this case, like, because truth or reality comes up under you, right? Like when we're listening for where truth or life is, it's the most alive place versus thought, right? No life there.
Right. Yep.
It's the most alive place. So if we're going to go put ourselves in the most alive place, then life will be there. So if we go to the store and there's salmon there, so now we've got salmon is here. It feels delicious in the belly. The awareness is saying salmon, right? Like there's all this information. Now, to be clear, super clear here, just the external, like you walk into the store and salmon's there, but if you brought it into your body and your body was like, ugh, then that's not it.
Right. Yeah.
Because oftentimes we'll do that. We'll track the external for signs. Well, this is just lining up, and this is just lining up, and this is just lining up, and I wanted this, and it's just lining up. And it ain't it. It ain't it at all, because what's missing is the core dowsing rod, right? The core piece of information, which is inside your body and being. That's the primary place. So if it's a thought, the actual movement is slightly efforting and slightly depleting to your system.
Yeah.
So that goes, the mind says, right? The mind says, I want salmon. And if we come into the body and come into the being, it has a subtle depletion. Like, that would be good for me. My body does well on these omegas. That's a smart choice for me because I like to eat light and I would appreciate some wild caught. I only like wild caught, right? Like, that's a 3 out of 4 ain't bad thought, right? It's not resonating with the most aliveness. It's not pure heaven to the senses, to the being.
Yep. Yeah, I get that.
And so we often find that when it is awareness with clarity, there's not an inner dialogue going on. If it is a thought coming from the mind, there's usually an inner dialogue going on. That's another little subtle movement that we can see.
Yeah, I get that. That really resonates. Yeah. And the other, go ahead.
And I just want to clarify the inner dialogues, right? Like, so in my little pathway here, when I say, if something's painful, it's just fucking pain. You're like, I'm so fucking angry. This is the worst. It's terribly depleting. You know, like, fuck, right? That's the inner dialogue of pain.
Right.
Which is a way that our conditioning, our habit can drive us, especially if it was like a career, something in your job or something in a relationship or something, right? Pain versus pain. It's just like, this is the worst. But then there's another place called suffering, which is a little less painful. And the dialogue, the inner dialogue on suffering, right, is like, well, we're really teaching each other a lot. Right? Like, this is my opportunity to learn, right? If it was a job or if it's a relationship or something, right? Like the voice inside is like, I'm really grateful for this opportunity because it's really triggering me, and I'm getting to see my own triggers, and I'm getting to see what's true around my own pain, and we're just really, we're helping each other evolve or something, right? Or this opportunity is helping me grow. That's right. Pain. It's a lighter pain called suffering. And you're not going to grow, and you're not going to fucking evolve, and you're not going to fucking heal because it's not life. You're still in control. It's still a separate me moving from mind. So we're talking right now about that 3 out of 4 ain't bad, where the inner monologue is like, this is good. This is easy. This is a nice choice for me. I do well with this. There's nourishment here for me, right? Like the internal movement is like that. So I just want to clarify the difference between that suffering place and that 3 out of 4 ain't bad place of the inner dialogue versus life or delicious. There's no fucking inner dialogue. It's just, oh my God, this is so fucking great. I didn't know it could be this good. Pure heaven. Pure fucking heaven. And that is the only place that we evolve, that we grow, that we learn, right? That's it, because that's the only place we're in life. That's the only place where life moves. And where does evolution come from? Life.
Yep.
Where does clarity come from?
As you say that, I think one of my probably, and I even said this last week, one of my strongest internal dialogues recently has been, well, this isn't, what is it? It's a 3 out of 4, but it's this is the least depleting choice. So it must be good.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, this is the least depleting choice. It must be good. This is good. It's exactly that internal dialogue. This is good.
It's good enough. Yeah. Yeah.
It's good enough. It's good. It's good, good, good. And then it's followed by a million things, like what you were saying about the gym earlier, right? Like, it's a practice. And I love this practice. It's a good practice, like working out and lifting the weights. Or I'll hear like, but I have to make this business choice, right? And this is a good business choice, but I have investors, but I have, when I'm talking with my VCs or something like that, I'll get all these justifications of why good enough is going to work. Yeah. Or I'll hear it, I hear it in a million times in a million different ways all day long, right? But I'm a builder, and as a builder, we just think this way. You don't understand, Kiran, because you're not a contractor, I'm a contractor. Right, yeah. And so as a contractor, this is the way we think, right? Like, oh God, I hear it a million times a day. It's like, dude, it's so clear, right? That internal justification around that level of good or ease or some nourishment or the right way to do it or a good practice is actually 3 out of 4 ain't bad, not life. It's still exactly that internal monologue. It's the same of like, this is good. This is good. There's some ease here. This is nourishment. This is what I should be doing. There's subtle levels of should in there.
And at its core, that's just the mind or thought trying to prove to itself it's safe, right? I mean, it's at its deepest core.
Yes! Boom, 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 boom. You get the rock star award. Yes! Nothing makes me more happy than when you see the depth of the truth. Yes. At its root, it's a separate me trying to be safe. Except it's an illusion of safety, because that's not safety. That's not safety. Over here in Delicious, that's safe. It's pure fucking heaven. It's better than I could have imagined. I never even knew it could be so good. That is safety. And partly, how do you know? Because it has its own momentum, its own ease, its own aliveness. You don't have to pump practice and energy into it. Right?
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to. It has its own. It has its own energy. It has its own momentum. It maintains itself. That's part of why something is safe, right? It's organically moving itself forward. I don't have to push it, right? Like that's already safer, right?
Yep.
And then what we saw also in this, in this inquiry today is that you have even just a few breakthrough moments of that in a day, and it starts to have more of itself. And in more of itself, there's just more ease in your system, right? Pure heaven, oh my God, this is so amazing, which leads you to another pure heaven. Oh my God, this is so amazing, which leads you to another, oh my God, this is so heaven. And your system begins to just really deeply, deeply relax and deeply nourish. That's another definition of safety. Actual, tangible, for real, bankable safety. Yes.
So let me ask then a follow-up. So in the Money recording this week, you and Meg, I think, were talking about the rock climber who kind of climbs over fear. But if I'm recalling correctly, you talked about true safety is sort of in the free fall, right? And I was and as I heard
free fall for the mind, right? Free fall for the mind.
Not
free fall for life.
Well, I couldn't figure. I'm like, sitting awareness. It sometimes sort of feels like I'm floating, not really free falling. Free fall for the mind. Thank you for that clarification. Okay.
So and just let's flesh it out just even a little bit more exactly where we are, right? So in reference to the Money course, we're referring to what is real safety, what is actual, tangible for real safety. And that illustration, right, that illustration of like, if just exactly where you're pointing to right now, right, there's this illusion of safety, which you just pulled out, right, that says this salmon is a good choice for me, or this workout is a good choice for me, right, that it's like there's some ease, there's some nourishment. It's certainly not suffering. It's better. It's better, like
right. Yep,
there's some rest. It's less depleting, right? So that movement is there, and it gives this sort of there's control, right? And that control is this illusion of safety. When we go over here and we go pure heaven, it's pure heaven. It's better than I could have imagined. I can't even believe it. And then that pops you to another, like, pure heaven. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And there is a level of gratitude that naturally springs up in these places, for sure. That's a deep kind of a true gratitude, not a practiced gratitude, not at the end of my day I go through and I practice, which is still control over there.
Right.
But the organic one is just like, Mother of God, this is so good. This is so good. How could it be so good? Like that movement, right? That, if we fully allow that, like fully take it in, and then it which is fully letting life lead, and then another one comes in, we fully let life lead, and then another one comes in, we fully let life lead. This starts to feel like a free fall for that controller.
Gotcha.
That controller can't find itself, right? Because it's just like, you know, like it's like, where am I?
Yeah.
And so it has a free fall sensation to it, but it's not for in life. Like we can still say, is this pure heaven? Yes. So heaven is here, right? Is there clarity here? Yes. Is there truth here? Yes. Like in reality, you're profoundly grounded. You're profoundly centered. Like your being, your system, because life is your system. Life is your being. So life is grounded. Life is here, and safety is legitimately here. But that controller can't find it. So to the controller, it feels like a free fall.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, that's helpful.
So, and so in the money course, when I'm using that example of this incredible climber, right? He has a foothold. He's got a foothold and a handhold, and he has a momentum, and but everything, like any other climber around, is like, ah! Or anybody watching is like, ah! Because the level of control is not there.
Yes.